In light of the vast media coverage of the recent shark attack on the Oregon coast, it might come as a surprise to you if I said that the waters off Oregon are some of the safest in the United States. Well, in fact, this is true. According to Keith Chandler, a marine biologist at the Seaside Aquarium, shark attacks in Oregon are isolated and only occur about once every 12 years. Today I'm going to tell you about the types of sharks that attack, where you're most susceptible to being attacked, and finally how you can prevent an attack from taking place in the beginning. So first of all, the three main types of sharks that attack are coined the big three by scientists, and these are the great white, the tiger, and the bull shark. And according to Paul Guernsey, an outdoor journalist and shark enthusiast, the great white is responsible for the most attacks on humans of any shark. And this is largely because it lives off of highly populated coastlines such as Australia and South Africa. And this is where surfing is very popular, and ironically where the majority of the predominant sources of food such as sea lions and large fish live. So when they're hunting those areas, humans are also present and they're bound to get attacked. And the difference between Australian great white sharks and South African great white sharks and the Oregon great white sharks is that the ones that live in Australia and South Africa inhabit warm waters, so they have less of a reliance on fat-rich sea lions and fish that the Oregon great whites have the luxury of eating, and the Oregon sharks have more of a reliance on the fat because they live in cold waters, so they can't afford to attack humans because we don't provide the essential nutrients and fat that they rely on to live in cold water. And the tiger shark is responsible for open water and reef attacks, and it's responsible for nearly all attacks that take place in places such as Hawaii and the Pacific Islands. And it was also responsible for the attack on Bethany Hamilton. She was a 13-year-old girl at the time. She was a surfer. She's the girl who the movie Soul Surfer was based off of. And she was surfing when she was 13 years old, and she was attacked by a tiger shark, and her left arm was actually bitten off. And so all she has there now is kind of a nub, and she really has no function in her left arm. It's not there. But since then, she's overcome the attack, and she's been able to rise in the ranks of the pro surfing circuit, and she's competed in numerous competitions and won first prizes and gold medals, and she's known worldwide in the surfing world. And finally, there's the bull shark, and it can live in either salt or fresh water. And it's been known to attack swimmers in rivers in places such as Africa, Mississippi, and even in New Jersey. There was a famous attack in 1918 in Matawan Creek, New Jersey, where 3 school-aged children were killed and an adult trying to rescue them, and all these attacks took place within 20 minutes, and they think it was a bull shark. So it gained its notoriety from that attack. And so I'm going to tell you about where you're most susceptible to being attacked. George H. Burgess of the Ichthyology Department at the Florida Museum of Natural History states that the majority of attacks occur in nearshore waters. This is because the sharks food congregate in these areas, so they gather there to feed. And some other places where attacks may take place are steep drop-offs into the deep water. Visibility is less there, and so it's like kind of swimming in the dark, and they see a shadow, and they're more inclined to think that you're a sea lion or another form of prey instead of a human. Also, estuaries where rivers meet ocean. As I said earlier, the bull shark is a hybrid shark, so it can live in either salt or fresh water. And so they tend to congregate in those areas to either breed or feed, and swimming in those areas is not a good formula for a good swim. You're much more at risk of a shark attack in that area. And also murky and churned up water, as I said earlier, when sharks can't see their prey, they feel more threatened and more inclined to attack. And when we're swimming in these areas, they may think that we're another form of prey because their main sources of prey congregate in those areas, so they're more inclined to attack. And finally, at dawn and dusk, because these are the primary times where sharks feed, and so it would be like going into a lion cage and staying in there while it's eating. You wouldn't want to do that. And then finally, I'm going to tell you about how you can prevent an attack now that you know all the other facts. George Burgess, again, the director of the Florida Program for Shark Research, states that you shouldn't swim alone if you were to be attacked. The majority of attacks are never even reported until after the fact, because either a body is found, or when you are attacked by a shark, you tend to go into shock fairly quickly. Some sources state, medical research source stated that when shark attack victims, most often they don't even feel pain, but by the time they realize what's happened, they're already going into shock from blood loss. And he also states that you shouldn't swim with shiny jewelry on because it triggers a response in the sharks. They're used to hunting fish and sea lions, which create flashy, shiny images in the water. So if you're wearing a ring or a necklace, they're more inclined to attack you. And finally, stay away from areas of commercial fishing because when fishing boats come into dock, they release chum in the water, which is dead parts and fish guts, as well as they're thrashing due to the dying fish and whatever else could be feeding the area. And sea lions also feed on these fish. So no one would want to swim in those areas, but sometimes people do it by accident when they get into industrial areas. So the best way, and finally, there's a revolutionary product called the Shark Shield, and it's a device that impairs sharks' ability to attack by disrupting their electronic impulses. I can equate this to a human if we were to be shocked by a electric fence or some sort of wire that would immediately deter us from whatever we were doing. Primarily because sharks rely on electrical impulses for their locomotion. They use smell, but they rely less on their eyesight because they don't have good eyesight. So when they're shocked by this device, their ability to move around and communicate is severely inhibited. But overall, the best way to educate yourself the best way to defend against the shark attack is to educate yourself about the facts and be knowledgeable at all times. A lot of people in developing countries or just areas where they're not real informed about the topic tend to swim there, tend to practice poor swimming habits, or they're just not aware of the facts that may increase their risk of a shark attack. So today I've told you about the three different types of sharks that attack, where you're most susceptible to being attacked, and how you can prevent a shark attack.